I look at people who get angry after a week and tie it to something bigger. If the Mariners are still doing this in June, then you have every right to go and sit there and say these are the moves that they could have or should have made, or they should have done something. But it amazes me that in the fantasy world in which many fans live, it's incredible how every move they want to make turns out right.
Right.
Like, that's the beauty of living in a world where there is no reality.
I mean, look how good Chris Bryant was last year. I mean, come on, Jeff. Look how good.
I mean, and listen, this is not me calling you spoiled, which I've done already, and which I've learned my lesson from. This is me.
Have any Mariners fans hit you up this week? Have you gotten that? Have any receipts been paid to you on Twitter this week with that?
Maybe. I've just ignored them, though, because it's 5 freaking games. It is 5 games. And I'm sorry, but the people who get this like reminds me of my child getting angry and not understanding sample size. Like, again, if this is something that continues playing itself out over the next, you know what? I'll cut it. Normally, I don't make judgments until June. I'll cut it to May 1st. I think by May 1st, the Mariners are going to be just fine,
Good.
Barring injury, mind you.
Well,
and listen, losing Robbie Ray, not great, but we have talked about that on this show before, that the Mariners are not going to be as healthy as they were last year. And that's something that they're going to have to overcome. And if there is a criticism worth levying, guys, it's not that they didn't bring enough big-name players in. It's a question of just how deep this team goes and whether it can withstand the normal amount of injuries. And, hey, what do you know? Like, they didn't trade Chris Flexen, and now a guy who's been a really productive big league pitcher for the last couple of years can slot right into your rotation. Huh, how about that? I'm not going to be the wet blanket today.
Good.
Let me come in and say a few things. Number one, it's 5 games. 5 games, everyone. They're going to play 5 games again 31 more times. And there are going to be really bad 5-game stretches over those 31 other times that they play them. And there are going to be some really good ones. And in the end, if like 17 of those 31 are good and 14 aren't quite as good, it's a playoff team. It's so easy to overreact early in the season, and I understand the instinct there, but let's be reasonable sports fans. Let's not draw enormous conclusions from a 5-game stretch where they ran into some pretty good pitching with Cleveland, a team that, by the way, won its division last year and have played 1 game against the Angels. Am I being too reasonable here?
Mm-hmm.
No, you're being exactly reasonable, and this is what I keep trying to say. But
reasonable.
Here's why I'll speak the mind of the angry fan, which I've been arguing with here for the last week. They thought this was coming. For them, it's not 5 games. For them, it's the logical conclusion of an off season in which the Mariners didn't do enough to try to get better.
So if the Mariners had come out 4-1, does that invalidate their entire premise?
Yes.
Like, if the Mariners had started, so regardless of what happened, they were going to make judgments on 5 games?
Probably. I don't know. I'm doing the best I can. This isn't my argument. I'm doing the best I can to channel the angry Mariner fan.
Well,